The Nerd Academy podcast is released weekly at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, available on our website at www.thenerdacademypodcast.com and wherever you listen to podcasts. You can find the Nerd Academy podcast on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. You can also help support the show by going to patreon.com/The Nerd Academy podcast, where every donation allows us to bring you more exciting content every week.
Good morning, class, and welcome back to the Number One Contender podcast, the show where your favorite nerds sit down and talk all things movie, trivia, schmodown. I am your host, Jarod the Dark Jedi Bachman Stubbs, and joining me, as always, is the one and only your resident dungeon head and Green Lantern Professor, Travis Grossman. Oh, that was crisp. Oh, that was pornographic.
Looking back over the matches from the past week, I realized my name should have been some reference to Upset City, because we're an upset city. But
we are an upset city. But also, you're right. But yeah, we have some matches to go over. I have a lot. Real quick, Travis. Oh, I
have not watched the pay-per-view last week. For this week's pay-per-view, I know what happened because I saw the master post on Facebook for this week's. So,
okay,
yeah, which it adds to this. But everything else, I'm good on. And okay. I need to go back and listen / watch the doubleheader from last week. Just to see the matches, yeah. I want to see how everybody played. You know,
it was really good. We can just jump right into that right now.
Before that though, Ty Lieberman, and that's all.
I think that's all that you really can say. Like, I'm gonna be honest. I wasn't able to see the match, but I did see all of like the immediate Finstock hype. And it was one of those like, okay, well, I will circle back to that when I get a chance. I did not get a chance. But
that's how I was with this one.
Yeah. This is the first one I watched. Running through, getting ready for this week's show. Starting with the undercard. I think everybody put on a good match. Everybody, gave it their all, which is to be expected from these individuals. But I got to say, and I don't mean this as any disrespect, I think that Jeff Snieder, again, like those who can't play, commentate. They've made that joke before. Do I think I could hang on the level in singles that a Jeff Snieder can? Hell no. Hell no. I would get curb stomped. I am not going to make any bones about that. I don't want this to sound like woulda, shoulda, coulda, anything like that. What I do want to say is that I think I'm not quite sure if I'm not quite sure how much of a character is on display here and how much of it is Jeff needing to kind of reconsider how he handles his wins and his losses. I think that it was kind of really disappointing watching him kind of like the who the hell knows that he threw out once he missed his 5.
And just all the slurs, all of the very hateful thing. That was a joke. And I'm saying that like it feels weird not being able to contribute, but also like it's not out of character for him, so this isn't a shock to me.
No, he got very, very flustered. Like he did the thing that Jeff is kind of had become an, I don't want to say issue, like it's a defect. But the hill that he's had to climb, that if he misses a question or two, it throws off his rhythm and he gets a little, cagey. And when he doesn't have, and he was managerless, so he didn't have Roxy to talk him off of a ledge. He didn't have a teammate to talk him off of the ledge.
Wait, he just didn't have a manager.
He managed himself that match.
That's I don't like that.
Yeah. So I get it. I get how he arrived at that point, and again, he didn't do a post game. He didn't do a post game. He, from what I understand, I couldn't tell if he like texted Christian or if he just put it in like the private StreamYard chat that he was like, I'm too heated to give an interview right now.
And that honestly is very mature of him, I think.
Yeah,
like it's in the situation where he's like, I know I will make an ass of myself if I talk about what just happened, and I need to step away. So
that's true. It was a lot to take in, and I was hoping for more from him it's hard to see someone who's such a seasoned and decorated veteran like the wheels fall off, not on a gameplay level, but have that moment of like, who the hell, and Chance, I will say, like, love him. He kind of dunked on Jeff because he's like, who the hell would know that? And then Chance flipped his board around.
Was this in round 1?
3. This was in round 3, but the question.
Oh, they asked Jeff a question. And
Jeff depleted his JTEs. Jeff was getting frustrated because he kept like, what the hell is this? Because, and here's why he hated it. And he was basically asking for the name of the movie, and I can't even remember the name of the movie. And maybe you'll remember this because I know we saw the trailer for it. And that's why Chance remembered it. Because I think it was attached to both New Mutants and Tenet.
Gross. Not Tenet. Tenet's good.
The movie with KJ Apa, it was like the Jesus movie. Like friggin' Shania Twain was in it, and KJ Apa from Riverdale. And that was it. They were like the religious movies starring KJ Apa in the category of new releases, And Jeff couldn't pull it, and he was getting more and more. He's like, seriously, like we're dipping our toes into like Christian movies, and it was like but he was making it sound like they were asking him a question about God's Not Dead, which like I don't even think the second and third God's Not Dead's got theatrical releases, but he was very frustrated by it and kept doing the whole like, who the hell knows this? And while Jeff was struggling with it, Chance had written it down. So that's how that one ended. So yeah, Chance is moving on to a number 1 contendership, as Christian put it last night, very off the cuff, which is very funny. Number 1 contenderhood. Is either number 1 contenderhood or number 1 contendership, I think is what he said.
Well, he played for it yesterday.
Yes.
And he played JTE, which is a surprise to me because Adam Collins exists. But now Adam Collins gets to play in the tournament, so that's kind of scary.
Yeah, I'll take, honestly, blessings in disguise. Like, that's how I handled that. Like, I kind of got the vibe that Adam wasn't going to pull it about halfway through round 1. That was just what my gut was telling me. My gut also gets very upset with me, and I just real quick want to thank Travis for being the best co-host on the planet, because this is not the first time he's gotten a message from me where it's like, hey, I feel like I'm dying. My stomach is falling out, and we need to push the show back a little bit, and we're going to end up running low on time because you have to work. So thank you, and I love you.
I have no room to talk. I have straight up made us miss shows before. So
I'd rather miss the show than be late because one of us is pooping badly.
The best
Bad
ones are when you
poop
text
delays.
and you're like, I can't, I have problems, and I'm like, so do I.
Surely the amount of sheets we eat in a week has nothing to do with it.
No, not at all.
Honestly, I haven't had a whole lot of sheets lately, so it's clearly just that I need to see a doctor, but that's beside the point. Anyway, I prefer the idea of having Adam Collins play in the tournament. Like, it was one of those things that I kind of had to make like made peace with it, you know. It's like, I don't think he's gonna win here, but I think Adam is good in a tournament setting, and I think that then he said it himself in his post game that there was a little bit of rust, and that he had to kind of, you know, shake the shit off, you know, get back in the fight. And I look forward to see him burning his way through the tournament. I don't know what I think Corruption has a really, really good chance at really closing in on all sides of the tournament. He's my favorite, ride or die. Mike is the one I'm kind of worried about because he's belted and on the warpath for the team's belt. I know that he is in singles as a Corruption point getter, in the same way he was in the Inner Geekdom tournament last season. The goal wasn't necessarily a belt so much as it was get other people away from points while scoring points. And I liked that strategy then. I like it now. I hope Mike can do that. Obviously last year we didn't get much from him in singles because Perry Nemiroff, came out of nowhere with that one. So yeah, it'd be good showing for JTE. JTE versus Chance, I think, is going to be one hell of a match.
Well, it happened.
And
it was yesterday.
No, it happened, but we haven't seen it.
There's a master post in the Facebook group for it. You might not want to look at it because it'll tell you who won, but
is it not on the YouTube channel though?
I wouldn't be able to see it. It was a pay-per-view.
One moment. Well, we'll be covering that next week. I'm frustrated because I don't want to touch it until we can talk about the match itself.
I'll let this continue. I'll let this continue for this week.
Yeah, let that continue. Apologies to everybody. I thought there was a pay-per-view too. And I kept refreshing Patreon at work, and it never showed me a link. And I was like, I feel like I have to send Travis something. And then it never showed up in my feed. So apologies. We'll be covering that.
I didn't know it was there till this morning. Literally sitting here waiting for the StreamYard link. I was scrolling Facebook, and it popped up with that master post. And I went, oh. I haven't even watched the match to know who won those ones. So...
Yeah, so apologies. I didn't get the memo on that one. It's been a busy week. I apologize to everybody on that. So that'll be next week's episode. Well, that'll be our first match we examine. But yeah, moving into the next match, Final Exam versus Lightning Time. Travis, thoughts?
You all said I was crazy. You all said he couldn't do it. He's doing it. I don't like that he's doing it because I want Shazam to still be the team's champions. But he is doing it. And you can't deny that.
He can do it as long as he wants until Mike and Chance come in to take them.
3 big belts, Irwin. But in actuality,
I'm like scrubbing through the video and I shouldn't be right now. I'm sorry.
For the pay-per-view?
Yeah, and I keep coming to like the show's about to start screen, and I think that was a sign from the Schmodown gods to just wait. No, they played a great game here. Final Exam fought like hell, took them to sudden death, which is always a good time. You know, like I said, I think this is the most.
I wouldn't even say fought like hell. Like it was just even the whole way until the very end, you know.
Fought like hell in that like it was neck and neck, and everybody, you know, everybody came away from this one feeling like a winner, I would say. You know, like when it goes to sudden death, you didn't lose. The other person just knew one answer more than you did. You know what I mean? Like that's what there've been more sudden deaths this season than any season prior. It is because everybody has cranked their shit up to 11, and it makes me so happy. Like I get giddy when I hear that. All right, we're going to sudden death. Because you just it makes me happy. Still questioning where the
go ahead.
Grab
I thought
a
of a
belt.
funny transition that I'll use later to upset you. Go ahead.
I'm waiting to see where the token that Paul has is going to come into play.
Oh, the
title shot of any choice. Because, like, again, I think he's probably going to cash it in singles.
I think that he's bet. And if he's waiting to, it would be some shit. If he doesn't win the tournament, have the spectacular belt match be a fatal 3-way.
I'm trying to think if they if in the rules they can still do triple threats and multi-ways for belts.
Yeah. Oh, for belts, I don't know, but I would assume they can.
I mean, they definitely can for like 3-rounders. I would be very surprised and also very okay with it being a triple threat. I think they would. I mean, they probably only need like green light from the champ.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think that would be very like the champion depending.
They would play it off as the story is like, this is malarkey, and someone throws their hands up but does it anyway. But like in the background, they'd be like, "Are you guys okay with this weird format being a thing and like being allowed to, in the background, prepare?" Because, like you said, that's one of those things where like as long as everyone's on board, you can write the story however you want. Like you can make someone be as upset as you want, as long as they actually know for the game ahead of time. It doesn't really matter. So.
Yeah, I think that would be very much like a champ's choice type thing, in the same way that, you know, when you're playing a championship match, if you're the one with the belt, you decide whether or not spinners or opponents is on there. So,
and it never seems to be.
No, I can't think of any time in my like 4 years of watching, 4 or 5 years, that that someone's ever just been like, "Hey, just putting it on the wheel for this title shot."
It just feels like a gentle person's agreement, like taking away that level of like bad beats of like if someone gets spinners and someone else gets opponents. Like it's just too uneven of a match, you know?
Yeah. But
you know what match didn't go to sudden death? Chance Ellison versus Moose Haas.
thank you guys so very much for watching and listening. Thank our $10 patrons, the Waffle Wizard, Delta 9. You're an asshole. Go to hell. I didn't get a chance to like watch this one the whole way through because like I had it on, and at the same time that I had like right before I was like, oh yeah, I gotta watch this one. Saw the tweets.
Yep.
Okay.
Upset City.
Here's a general rule. Bobby Gucci, Tom Finstock, whatever the shit we're gonna call you today, and all of your minions, can you not spoil it within an hour of the match being posted? Like that's all I'm going to ask. Is that every time I get less interested in watching when I see the outcome ahead of time. Like by a significant factor, I lose the ability to get invested in the match. And like it shouldn't be that way, you know? Like I know that's not how most sports are. Where like if you know who won or who lost, you're still gonna like tune in because you want to watch the game happen. And it's not just because one of my boys is the one who lost. In any match, when I get spoiled on the outcome, even if I know one of my people won, it becomes less entertaining. So just give it like a day or two. Tom, please, I'm begging you. How badly did this end for Chance? Was I seeing TKO? I thought I saw TKO. Okay. God damn it.
Finstock strikes again.
I want to know what they're putting in the water in the exchange that makes these guys bulletproof in round 3. Like, I want to know what Jordan's special stuff they're pumping these guys full of.
Whatever makes you really good at round 2, honestly.
It's just wild.
Having a perfect round 2, maybe picking up a steal here or there has become so pivotal in just securing your position in round 3. That I'll be honest, I don't remember exactly how this one went other than the TKO. But I feel like Chance got some hard questions too in round 3. I honestly can't remember.
I mean, the way that things are shaping up to be Robert Parker versus Ethan Irwin and Musas versus Saul, I feel like a lot of brackets got broken completely.
Yeah, I would definitely.
I got very confused for a second because I'm on the tournament bracket page and I scrolled down and I saw a completely filled out Star Wars bracket and I'm like, when did we miss a Star Wars tournament? It's the one from a couple months ago. I confused myself.
Star Wars has 3 brackets right now that could possibly be the case.
And all of them feature a match between Alex and Molly Damon, who you can catch tomorrow on Knights of the Nerd Republic for our High Republic story so far, part 2.
Good plug.
Thank you. I was proud of that one. I had to channel my inner anti-Robert Evans and find a good way to introduce and plug.
Not just shout Hitler.
Not just shout Hitler!
Who was on a lot of meth.
What's cosplaying Harley Quinn at the Scum and Villainy Cantina, my friends?
That was
You
a good
know
Robert
who I
Evans.
would kill? You know who I would kill? No, let me rephrase it. I wanted to say who I'd kill to have on the show, but every time I kept phrasing it that way, it sounds like I want to kill that person. I want to have Cody Johnson on Knights of the Nerd Republic because I know he's a hardcore Star Wars fan. Like, I just want to have him on the show and be like, I just want to hear your favorites because he's just such a he's gonna have at least one wild favorite.
He's gonna have his favorite Star Wars boar.
You'd be like, least favorite episode of The Mandalorian was episode 2. Why? The Mudhorn is just boar propaganda.
Yep.
I remember the moment I realized I was like, I'm going to be a lifelong fan of all of these people was when I think it might have been on Worst Year, like really early into Worst Year when it was still exclusively about the election. Remember when that was the point of that podcast?
I remember last January, yes.
I think they started comparing Joe Biden to Kit Fisto. Like, I don't remember how they got there, but it was like listening to a political podcast and it just devolving into them talking about Kit fucking Fisto. And I was like, these guys know who Kit Fisto is? And they have good politics. I feel I'm at home. I can't remember I could be wrong. It could not have been Biden
Why
and
would
Fisto.
You Kid Fisto like that?
Wait, what did you say?
So why would you disgrace Kit Fisto like that?
Okay.
I hold him in much higher regard than I hold Joe Biden.
Also, if you're new here, we dislike Joe Biden because left.
He's not left enough.
Yeah. For any newbies who just got very curious as to our vaccination status,
quite. It's quite.
We are quite vaccinated.
More Paulo Yama. Paulo Yama and Ethan Irwin have just been playing like madmen the past couple weeks.
Right?
I listened to this on the drive home last night.
Yeah.
It might have been the most expected match possible. Like, just down to I forgot Nick Harley was the FCL champ and came up, right? Like, he did very well in his team's match. He did very well in that match too. Like, it wasn't a bad showing. It's just that you're playing Paulo Yama, who's very ready to have a belt again. And Nick kept pace, but it wasn't enough. That's how we all expected it to go.
Yeah, I mean, you know, there's an increase in difficulty again just because of time. I've seen maybe like 1.5 FCL matches, and while again you have to know your shit to play, it does feel like the difficulty is tampered down slightly.
And it feels like recently the MTS difficulty has been cranked up a notch.
Yeah, so there's a very like one is actively going up while the other one was designed to be like less difficult. I don't want to say easier, I want to say less difficult.
I think those are synonyms, Jared.
I know, but there's connotation to that. I don't want to say Nick Harley got an easy belt like next to an Ethan Irwin or a Dan Merle. Is why I'm being very particular with the language, but in a very literal sense, yes, they are.
It sounds like you're calling Nick Harley a little bitch, and I'm kidding.
Nothing but respect.
Did very well. Very impressed. We'll do great things with Jacoby Bancroft because they are a fantastic team.
Yes,
but
with
not much
all
to talk
of
about
that one. What was that?
So not much to talk about with that one. That was
no,
very cut and dry. Like, yep, Paul won. It was close in the way that the score was close together. Nick will do great things in this league.
I look forward to it. Again, I just want to apologize because that's on me that we aren't talking about JTE v Chance. Like I said, I missed that in my Patreon feed. But stop.
I know who won.
I know you know who won. You asshole. Stop it. You see slither back there, you dago. I've made it my brand openly throwing the term dago around. Because did I tell you about how, like, for a brief moment I thought it was about to be canceled on a live stream like a month ago?
No.
So okay, this is funny. I was on Hyperfocus, which is like the new Bombad Cast interview show that Jerry does. And while we were on, he like started bringing people in the chat in, and co-host of Force Connect, Jackson, came on, who, like us, is very Italian, and we've all made jokes about us all being spaghetti boys. He made an Italian joke, and I very quickly realized that he has never heard me make us jokes about us all being very Italian, and how like the Nerd Academy might be a mafia front, like all of those jokes, right? And I like really loudly went, "Hey, what's up, you dago?" Like he was like right after he had made an Italian joke, and you could have heard a pin drop, where it was just like, that was a really old ethnic slur for a 20-something. Like, and then I, instant discomfort, and I was like, I am Italian, and I was like, Bachman Stubbs. It throws you off. My great grandmother's name is Menchio. Like quick, like hey, you know, bada bing, you know, bada boom, gabagoo.
If you combine my my grandmother and my grandfather's last names, you get Mussolini. So that's not a bit. My grandmother's maiden name is Mussolini. Like, it's literally just his name without the M. And my mother's maiden name is Musi.
That's funny as hell. It's funny as hell. That's actually really funny. But since I am bad at my job and didn't refresh Patreon enough times yesterday, I guess our last match we're going to talk about, Intergeekdom Championship match between Mike, the Killer Kalinowski, and Chandru, the not so chosen Dhandapani. And Travis, so you've not seen this one?
Correct? Oh, I have. I watched it yesterday.
Oh, you did watch this one?
Oh yeah, I did.
I wish I hate this is not at the Schmodown. This is at our work schedules. I hate that these matches come out on Fridays. I would have punched a baby to watch this with you. Like multiple times, I kept thinking about like, God, this would have been so much fun in the same room together. It's so, oh my God. Okay. Do we want to talk about the match or the theatrics first?
Let's talk about the match. Let's get the fun stuff out of the way. That I'm doing a bit now to cover up the fact that I kept having to clear my throat. I think it's quite funny that when we had Frank on, he was like, and this is not a shot at Frank at all. Not at all. Because it clearly wasn't like the presence of the speed round. But like he said, you know, Chandra's been practicing. He's getting really good on those buzzers. At least it seems like he's getting good on those buzzers. And the speed round effectively put him in the dirt really hard.
If it weren't for the fact that I enjoy having Frank on, I enjoy talking to Frank. Frank has asked our opinion on important not like unimportant necessarily, but like has asked our opinion on Schmodown matters, which I view as a very high honor that he would ask opinion of us. I've not spent enough time around Frank digitally or otherwise to, I think, have earned the right to like open up the DMs and just go upon watching that match. No less at what was 4 a.m. for me would have been 1 a.m. for him. But I almost did it.
Yeah,
that was
and
the
I will
last
say,
decision I made before putting my head on a pillow that night.
I will say, I don't think it was the presence of the buzzer. I don't think it was the crowd. Like, he was doing fine with the boos, coming out of the betting round down another point, right? Because he bet 2 instead of 3. I don't know. That's the thing I'm confused about. I don't know if Winston does not understand the betting round or if he doesn't understand the betting round, where when you're that close, you have to bet 3 points. Especially when you know Mike's going to. Like, regardless, if you're in that close of a race and your opponent looks like they're going to bet 3, you have to. If it doesn't look like they're going to bet 3, you have to. Because you can't afford to lose that ground there. So he goes into that, and you can tell he's disgruntled by that. And then Mike just locked in the entire game with that first speed round question because he cut off the question. And that rattled Chandru. And Chandru was like, I have to cut off the question. And then tried twice and missed twice.
Oh.
And that's what did it.
It was so good. It was so good. Oh my God. I was out of control. Oh my God. Again, the fact that I got home at 3 a.m. was the only thing keeping me from like jumping up and down like a goddamn lunatic. Like watching that, like he missed that first one in round 1. And like I immediately was like, oh God, no. And like became so nervous because Chandru's one of those people, like if you give a little bit of ground, he can clear that gap and just through the throat, right? And again, like Mike Kalinowski, all-time favorite player, he's not invincible. Like it's kind of the reason why he's one of my favorites is that he isn't. That he is this that like he's so much fun to watch because like you don't like not because of inconsistency, but like you don't know what's going to happen. Like he is so evenly matched with all of the greats that it always comes down to circumstance. And I got really nervous for a moment there. And once Chandru missed, I was like, okay, we're safe.
Yeah, it's and that's the thing, and that's what I've been saying about this match since it was slated was like it's going to come down to if Mike misses first, which is not unlikely, how he handles that and how Chandru handles that. And he took a beat from Chance, right?
Yes.
When Chance misses first, it does not faze him. He doesn't really worry about it. It didn't worry Mike. Like normally when Mike misses and it upsets him, you can see it. Like he like physically reacts. He didn't. He just rolled with it, kept going. Chandru missed later. I think Chandru was still up a point by the end of round 1. Yeah, he was. He was still up a point. Didn't faze Mike. I think Chandru also made a mistake keeping X-Men. And that, like, maybe at the time, I don't know how he studied. I don't know what he studied. I don't know what was or wasn't the correct decision. But I think in that scenario, if X-Men isn't your number 1 category, you spin again. I also don't remember what the, like... Oh, wait, there was no opponent's choice. I'm stupid. I'm so geared to, like... considering the choice slices, but like it seemed pretty even, and I don't think there was a category that would have like completely bamboozled him.
No, I mean, like, and this isn't a slight against John Drew's knowledge. When I say this is just more like these are one of those newer categories that has been problematic for players. The two that were on there that, like, when I looked at it, I was like, oh, you know, but I would personally be running away from was Jurassic Park and AVP.
Yeah, for sure.
Other than that, it was pretty much regular inner geekdom fare. Like, obviously, you know, X-Men has its own slice now, but like just straight up comic book movies, DC.
Well, now comic book movies is a lot harder because it feels like it goes a little deeper.
Comic book movies can include anything from, like, you know, the big two, and then, you know, friggin'
Ghost Rider, Ride of Vengeance, or whatever the hell it's called.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the thing. Like, those are the movies that Mike is known for hitting.
Yeah.
So when he spun that, I was like, okay, he's got the song. Like, that was the point where I went, okay, I think he's about to take the lead because Sean Drew lost like 3 points in round 2. Yeah, he lost because he missed a one, had a multiple one. And I was like, he can make up the ground here. I didn't think he'd make up that much ground.
I think he checked down on 2 questions. Like, he checked down on 2.
Yeah, but he missed one of them.
Yeah.
No, he missed the one he checked down on first.
You're right. Okay. I'm confusing myself.
Like in that virtual scape of like, this is how many points I should be at. He was 3 lower than, yeah. So the where was I going with that? Like in that moment, you could see on his face too. He was like, "This is my shit. I know these weird movies." And he like made a point to know. Also, the BVS question was just too funny.
I was really upset that nobody in the crowd, nor Mr. Kalinowski, didn't. Why did you say that name? Like, it was right there. Like,
I think everyone was too taken aback by the fact that he'd already referenced the movie earlier in his questioning.
Yeah. That, like, just like, because like I know in that moment I would be like that guy who I think what was it, like round 5 was like, in Jurassic Park, yes. Which Jurassic Park yes guy, I hope you're having a good day. I hope you're having a great day. You earned a good day. That was very funny. Also, had it not been for Mike doing one of my favorite, I'm not a sports guy, but in the pantheon of like hilarious things uttered during sports events, Mike quoting the "Who the hell do you think you are? I am" thing, which is just one of my favorite quotes of all time. It's just marvelous. Had it not been for Mike going there, I would have. My name was going to be misspelled versions of the word irradiated, because
that was very funny. I think that took the edge off because, like, clearly he knew it. I think trying to do 2 things in that moment. He knew the answer to the question and that he wasn't going to win, and so, barring an act of God, and so he just felt like knocking him because when he said the word for Christian the first time, I was like, okay, he knows the answer to the question because he knows the quote.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. And you could tell on his face too, just that wash of like, I'll get him next time. But at least I can have some fun before this is over.
Yeah. Well, and like they kept saying it, like Brad Gilmore said it, and they said it throughout the match several times, and I'm embarrassed that I didn't think of it first. Like, it's because it's so obvious. Jarod Dhandapani is the Conor McGregor of the movie Trivia Schmodown. He truly is. He like all that's missing is like the goofy ass like Voldo from Soul Calibur walk. Like, all that's missing is Chandru doing the goofy Conor walk. Like, that's all that's missing. That's truly all that's missing.
Nope,
and he makes up for it with the Fortnite dances.
That's not all that's missing. He has to go vandalize a bus.
Chandru, if you're listening,
buddy, guy,
it's not.
I will find you a bus.
It's not going to be much, but we will give you a good chunk of Patreon money to help pay for legal fees for you to fuck up a bus. I do want to talk.
Go ahead.
Of him vandalizing a bus.
Yeah.
Mike's speech going out there was so good. Like, that is some of the best back and forth I've seen from him in a good minute.
Mm-hmm.
And like, especially after all the shit talk we've witnessed go down between him and everyone who was in that photograph. Watching him go, you don't get to talk shit the way you've been talking shit. His whole speech and him like, I'm going to have this photo right here next to my whiteboard while I kick your dick in. I loved it so much. Like, everything about this match is why Mike Kalinowski is my favorite player of all time. Shut up. I forgot. I've been using the Audio Technicas lately, and I forget that the cord is shorter, so I'm like always bunched up, and I don't have room for my arms. Okay, get your chuckle in, get your 7 laughs in, dickhead.
I punch my microphone all the time. It's not because it's. Oh, Jesus. All right.
What you don't see is because I never gesticulate with my left arm, is that most of the time my left hand gets tangled up in it, and my computer's covering the fact that I'm like bounding myself up for no reason because I'm clumsy. But that time it was bad. But like, everything about this match is why KO is my favorite, why he is the greatest IG player of all time. Right here tonight. 3rd ever to defend, 5-time champ, the greatest, the GOAT in IG.
Yeah, I don't think that, like, at this point that's very disputable. You know, I think
Chandru was the last. I think Chandru was the last name he had to check off his list. You know, like,
yeah, and that's like, you look at this tournament coming up, right? Like, who does out of the 4? I mean, Robert Parker still exists, but like, as much as I've been memeing, Ethan Irwin probably isn't going to make it there. And if he does, the dumb luck. Or the hella studying. And he's on, you know, he, in the same week, won his first IG match, got his number 1 contendership for the team's belt, and won the singles belt. Like, dude had a stacked week.
It is the Schmodown version of Fury's big week.
That was featured on What If. I like that they used that for a thing. That makes me happy.
I'm so glad we have the same brain sometimes, that we both that specific choice scratched an itch that we were like, this is good use of thing. I like thing.
What was I saying? Yeah, of the people here, I mean, like, Amaru's good.
Yeah.
And like, we're in upset times. I guess there's at this point a good chance he wins just because of the fact that we've seen so many upsets this past couple weeks. We also don't know when they're playing, but like, I think that match favors Mike very well, you know?
Yeah.
And I think it favors him with anyone in the tournament currently. Even Robert Parker, who I like a lot and does very well. I could see him folding in a buzzer round just like Chandru did. Like almost exactly that way, you know, where he bit off a question too quick and just didn't actually know the question. Because Mike has the potential to triple defend.
He could. He absolutely could. Like, once he gets through, he has to get through past Amaru, and I'm nervous for that. Like, that's the thing with Mike, and that, like, he can take on anyone, but anybody within that top tier, like, is a worthy opponent, and like, it's, how do I put this? There's kind of like a plateauing that happens with a lot of like high-end players where you reach a point where one's individual knowledge base may not be exactly the same as your opponent, but it is for all intents and purposes equal.
Yeah.
And like, it's just a matter of like, what questions can both of us bounce back from? And like, I think I'm going to do the same way, where there's that, like, they might be equals. Mike, I think Mike can beat him. I hope Mike does. That's honestly, that's a surprise. I'm pulling from Mike Kalinowski.
Amaru feels like the kind of player, and we've only seen a few of these, that settle in, that like has the knowledge but settles into the pace his opponent is playing, and I don't think he does that purposefully. Because like, you watch, all of his matches have been like within a couple points, you know?
Yeah.
When he played Jesse Swift, it was a slugfest. And Jesse Swift, we've seen now, plays slugfest. That's how his play style is. When he played Moose Haas, it was just a very straight. I don't remember. Again, that match is so hard to remember because even though I listened to it and I watched it actually, they weren't talking. It's hard to remember what happened. But I feel like there was even like one stole a question from, like, they both stole questions from each other in round 2. I don't remember that for sure. Don't quote me. And then when he played Saul, that was the first time we really saw him break ahead in a match.
Yeah.
And that was because of Spinner's Choice that he doesn't have access to, or most likely won't have access to. So I am curious to see what happens to that kind of player in a championship match.
Yeah.
Also, something I forgot to mention, this might be the last thing I talk about before I have to leave. I actually listened to some of the post-interview of Lightning Time Final Exam, and it was so adorable listening to Liz Shannon Miller realize in real time she was about to play for a belt.
I didn't get a chance to watch the interview just because I was trying to get through as many matches as I could before I went to work, but
I had it on at work, and so it was just like I just kept letting it play. And it was one of those like, do you think this match with Shazam's going to be the most important match of yours so far? And she's like, I don't know, but like just like casually talking about the match. And whoever, I forget if it was Jen Sturger or I think it was Jen. I don't remember. It was just like, well, you're playing for a belt this time, and she just went, oh yeah, that's right. I am playing for a belt this time. I guess it would be the most important one then.
That's good. Did you happen to watch the post game for Chandru and Mike?
Only Mike's interview. I didn't watch Chandru's.
Chandru's was good. Like, he is such a great villain. Like,
did he blow up at Winston, or was it just like I'll be back?
It was very I'll be back, and it was also like he basically opened his interview with, listen, how many of you came for Mike Kalinowski? How many of you came because you wanted to see me lose? Took a beat and was like, yeah, you're welcome for selling out Scum and Villainy. It was like, when you're talking about the movie Trivia Schmodown, when the audience is like unilaterally on Mike Kalinowski's side, like
That's true. It was very strange for the boos to not be at Mike.
like right? Because like they come out and they're like, killer, 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 killer. And I'm like, this is new. I've never heard the cheers come this way. This is fun. I like it. But yeah, phenomenal match. I had to like into my pillow last night, be like with the TV. It's like, oh, Travis can attest it firsthand. Watching a match in person with me when Mike Kalinowski wins, I have very little chill. I get very excited.
Doesn't matter just when he plays in general.
Yeah.
His round one singles tournament match, you'll be like, come on, Mike.
You're
Mike,
right.
come on, you knew that one. Come on.
Listen, I know what liking sports is like now. Like I hear myself turn into my I realized like when we were watching the collision at your house that I watched the Schmodown, especially when KO's playing, the way my dad watches the Pirates play. And like I'm not comparing skill level there, but like the same way that my dad is like coaching at the TV, the same way I'm like, Mike, it's Batman, Mike. Anyway, I think that's all we have. I don't think we have a September schedule yet, so we can't really speculate on matches for next week.
I would assume it's going to be just tournament stuff from here on out, although we don't know which tournament matches yet. We do know about the live event that's in October.
Yeah. We also know that we got to get Brendan Meyer v. Jacoby Bancroft in here somewhere, so that'll probably be next week because that didn't go up this week. So, yeah. Travis, where can the lovely people find you, buddy?
They can find me on Twitter and Instagram and at work soon, unfortunately, at Travis Political. Jared.
Yes.
When I ask you the almighty question, I might bounce so that I can get ready for work and eat something.
Okay.
Thanks for the good show. Good talks.
Good talks.
Good stuff.
Good stuff. My tummy feels slightly better.
That's good. Mine too. Little empty right now.
I don't think I'm going to be putting anything in it for a very good while today.
Where?
You guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at DarkJedi2552. And you can find the Nerd Academy podcast on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and on our website, www.thenerdacademypodcast.com, where, if you're feeling generous, you can donate to our Patreon page. Speaking of our patrons, thank you to our $10 alumnus, Fikey's Boomer Burner, The Waffle Wizard, Delta 9, Zach Knaus, Michael Armburst, and Jared the Light Sith. Thank you all so very much for your patronage and helping us do what we love to do. Be sure to consider the $5 tier where you get access to the Nerd Academy Movie Club audio commentaries. Coming in hot, wrapping up Indiana Jones month here soon. Pardon my hiccups. Knights of the Nerd Republic versus series. Darth Malik versus Mace Windu is out now. And Heroic History 101 that we'll definitely get back to at some point soon. I promise. I'm sorry. Be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, rate, review, do all the things. Thank you so very much for listening and watching and however you engage with this lovely show. And smash cancer.
Stop. Move away.